Hello, so today I thought I'd do some journaling. It's quite a grey, rainy day here, so hopefully the lighting's alright. But I thought it's basically the perfect time to stay inside, get cosy and do some journaling. And you'll have seen this on my channel before. This is actually last year's junk journal July, so I made this last June I think, ready for Meg Journal's challenge, and she does this every January and July. So we obviously had last July and then January, and we're coming up to the new July practically. And I still haven't finished this one, so although there's been a challenge in between, I really want to get this finished. And so I'm going to do a few more spreads today. I've done some spreads in here that I've shown on my channel before. Actually, I think I've shown the process of every single one of these. But I really enjoy working these. I haven't gone back and written anything yet. But it's just a really nice way to work, and it's different to my junk journal because the junk journal is in an old sketchbook, whereas this one has got stuff there already. So like the old sketchbook is blank pages and I start from scratch, whereas this one really challenges me a little bit because, oops, I need to re-stick some of this, because there's stuff there for me to work with, so it's kind of like an altered book. But I will leave a link to how I made this journal down below, and I'm probably going to do a couple of pages. It's going to be real time and I'll just chat with you as I do it. I'm also going to be using some new bits which I got as a gift from lovely Emma. So Emma Doans is on YouTube and she made me this gorgeous tiny journal, and she's got a process showing how she made this, a little tutorial on her channel, so I'll link that down below. But she sent me the most amazing happy mail, and it was such a joy to open. And I was going to do it on camera, but I couldn't help myself. But I really want to use some of these bits in today's spreads, so that's exciting. And I'm going to do lots of collage, some stamping. I've got all my bits out, and we're just going to get into it. So the most previous prompt that I did was envelope, which was, I think that was day 7. So we're on to day 8, and I have put little washi markers so I know which days to do on which spread, because I think there are exactly 31 in this journal, so perfect for the challenge, and that actually wasn't deliberate, but it worked out really well. So this one is day 8, which is Wanderlust, which works really well because I've got this postcard here. But it is quite a blank spread, so actually it's open to quite a lot of interpretation. But there's definitely a vintage theme that I've been doing on these pages, so I'm just going to roll with that. So I've pulled out a few bits from the Happy Mail from Emma. I found this and these bits, which definitely make me think of Wanderlust because it makes me think of our trip to Japan. So I think I'm going to theme it around this. I don't know if this is Japanese, probably it's Chinese, but I just think it works really well with the Wanderlust theme. So I'm just going to play around with some of these larger elements, and then I might put some stamps on as well because I think that will work well with the theme as well. I'm trying not to use scissors at all in this book because I really like the raw edges, and I think that makes it look like more homemade as well. And also I've got to remember that this is a flap, so I can decorate on here, and then there'll be space to write in here. I usually like to hide some of my journaling, so I think that will work well behind this flap. I try and work quite quickly, so obviously with anything like this there's going to be like endless possibilities, and sometimes it's hard to make decisions because there's so many options to do, so I just try and go with my gut, and if I like the way something looks then I'll just go ahead and glue that down straight away. Otherwise, like, there's just so many different ways you can do it, and it can be a bit difficult to actually then get on with it, and like you're almost paralysed by what to do, so I try and just go with my gut. So I've used quite a lot of tags in this journal already, but I really like the way the strings are falling out, so I'm not going to cut this one, and I'll probably put this one here, and then I will write on this. I'll probably stick that down there, and I also like to put the prompts on, so I've been doing that with these tiny little letter stamps. I think these are just from the Works. So I'm going to stamp Wanderlust on here, and then I can talk about like Japan or maybe some of my trip plans coming up, and I think that will work really well with this spread. So I'm just using Fit Stick to stick this down. You can use double-sided tape, and there are definitely some elements in here that are falling out, but generally I think Fit Stick works really well on some of like the thinner papers. And I think this would be nice maybe with like a floral element here, or maybe a stamp at the bottom. I think I'll go with this one because it's got the like travel theme, and the green that ties in with a postcard. So like I'm not going through like all my stamp stash or anything to find the perfect one. I'm just going with the one that feels right for me, and I think this one ties in better than this brown one I had. So basically that's a very simple like page. Like there's not much to it, but I think that's fine for this journal because there is so much going on anyway, especially in like the background. So then I want to work on this side, which I'm going to work with it with this close, so I can, like, that's how you'll open the spread. I think I like that on that side and this blank space there, and maybe I can have something like a floral or something going up there. I also have these tags from Emma. I don't know if that's a little bit busy, and also I have so many tags in this journal. I'm not sure if I should keep going and use more and more. So I'm just going to like play around with the elements and layer some up. There's some tag tickets in here which I think actually will work really well with the theme. And this pink ties in with that as well, so that helps. And like this isn't planned at all, so it's just like happy little accidents like that. And then I think little colour elements like that help tie it all in together and make it look like it was a really deliberate choice, even though it's just luck at the time. So I think I'm actually going to staple those in. And I'll just wanted to check what was on the other side, but there's nothing really there, there's no text or anything, so I think that's fine. And I just really like the extra texture this gives, and I like to usually do a double staple. So I'm trying to use my stamps a bit more as well. I've definitely used this one in this book already. I don't have that many smaller stamps. I think I've got quite a lot that I used to use for scrapbooking. But I just really like the extra like details this adds, and I don't usually reach for them, so it's nice to actually use them for once. This is feeling really empty, so I definitely want to add some more. I'm still obsessed with these floral pieces which I got from AliExpress, and I will link these down below. But these have just been such an easy way to add colour to a page, and also like you don't have to fussy cut it yourself as well, which is really nice. These are a little bit twee, a little bit too colourful for this spread, I think. So I don't think those are quite right. So this one would work really well with the pink, but I've used that a couple of spreads back, so I don't want to reuse that one. I think I want something quite leafy. Maybe I'll have it over here actually. That feels quite Christmassy though, so I'm not sure if that fits with the theme. The other thing that's good about stapling is that you can just layer things underneath. But I think that's too white for this spread. So I might try with something cream. And this ticket book is also from AliExpress. there's so many in the thing. I'm not like precious with it at all, so it's quite handy to have things like that you can just tear up. It's not like actual vintage stuff. So this is in the little sticker envelope from Emma. I think that looks really nice. And now I've got this like creamy yellow colour. I think these flowers have got that shade as well, so I think that ties that in nicely. And I like this brown paper element on this stamp. So this is the one that I was going to put here, but I think that ties those two pages again together. And throughout this whole book I've used quite a few brown paper elements, so that ties that in as well. So I think I want something else here. I think that's quite a boring page so far. So I think maybe it needs something up here, maybe some more layering pieces. But it doesn't feel quite finished yet. So Emma also sent me these really amazing wax seals, so I think that could work. I don't know if that gets... I think it looks a bit low contrast on the video, but it's a lot more obvious in real life. And I'm going to try this with Fit Stick, but I think I might have to come back in with double-sided tape on this one. So I want that slightly overlapping just to break up this line down here. So I think I'm going to go with that there, just to fill that space at the top which doesn't have anything. Oh, these are stickers actually, that's really handy. And I really like it when things overlap, so again I've gone underneath this, which is over this. And I think it just adds more interest to the page. This doesn't feel quite finished yet. I think it might need something down here, maybe some washi tape. So I've got this little loop one, which kind of feels like it's hand drawn, so I think I'll try that down the bottom. And the good thing about washi tape is you can just peel it up if it doesn't work. Because I'm not sure if this will be too busy. Oh, I think that's okay. So that's one spread. It's very simple, but I think there's quite a lot going on in anyway, even though it doesn't feel like I've added that much. So that's Wanderlust, and then I'm going to talk a bit more there about my travel plans. And then the next page, which is prompt number 9, is pattern. So there's not much pattern here. On this like pre-made spread, so I'm going to look in my stash for something that's nicely patterned, and then we'll go from there. So this was in the journal cards packet from Emma again, and I think that really pairs nicely with this like vintage postcard. I think this was actually from Paper Chase, so it's not vintage, but just a sepia tone I think ties in with this, which feels kind of like vintage wallpaper. I think what I'm going to do is actually tape this in so we've got another flap. The beauty of this journal is I can layer and layer and not worry about like the spine breaking or anything. So I think I'm going to make the most of that and washi tape this in, and then I can go underneath it and I have more space. So obviously pattern is quite a broad one, so I don't need to like worry too much about linking things in. I'm just going to play around with different elements and create something here. I like to have space on the page for journaling, even though I'm probably not going to journal about the pattern or anything. I do like to have extra space because I do tend to fill some of my journals with quite a lot of words, and this one already has space for that, so I think I'm going to carry on with that theme. And I'll just layer up a few different bits here, and then I can go back in later to fill it in. So I think these flowers work well with the pattern, and it kind of looks like a Polaroid the way that frames it, so I'm going to add that in, and then I'll add some fake washi on top. So obviously I've glued it in, but I'm going to add the washi along the top here and tie it in with this, which again goes with the pattern because it's this like grid pattern. So I'm going to add the prompt here, and then I can finish decorating this. Now the inside bit I think is done. So I'm going to add this in here. I think I've definitely used a lot of these stickers, and like there's obviously a lot of natural elements in this book. This is a real flower that I pressed. Actually maybe I haven't used that many. There's a rose petal that I pressed. I thought I'd used more of these stickers. I know I've definitely used it here, and obviously that one there, so I thought I had like practically one on every page, so I didn't know if this would be too much, but I don't, and I think this ties in really well with this pattern, so I'm going to add that here. I think that really works there, and then I think I want to add a few more bits here, and maybe some more stamps and collage bits. So I'm definitely struggling with this side. I think like a lot of the papers I'm trying is like the contrast is too much. I don't like the way it doesn't feel like it flows. It feels too jarring to have this sort of tone of paper there. So I'm just going to carry on trying to find something that works, because I think that it just feels unfinished without that. I think it just needs something. So I was playing with this, which I do like because it breaks up that line, but then this feels a little bit empty. So I'm just going to keep looking through my stash and seeing if there's anything that jumps out at me. So I think this works a bit better. This to me is less harsh than this one. You can see like this one's kind of a greeny blue tone, whereas this one's a lot warmer. So although like it still stands out, there's enough contrast there that it doesn't look the same as this, but it's in the same like warm tone, so I think that works really nicely. And I think I'm going to stick that down there, and then I might leave this blank unless I find anything that works really nicely in this corner. Otherwise I think it's busy enough. Obviously we've got like the two patterns here, and I think this text is definitely busy with that then on top, so I'm going to see if it needs anything else. So I'm going to add on this fussy cut butterfly again from Emma, and I think this has a nice contrast. This whole spread is quite like almost classic and a little bit twee, but I think it goes with like the botanical theme that's kind of come from working on this page. And then I think this looks a bit empty, so I might add some space for journaling here as well as here, and then I think we'll call that good. So again, I've picked another paper that has the same warm tones, which definitely keeps it along with like this vintage theming, and there's enough space there for more writing or stamping. So this spread definitely took a little bit longer than the other one, and I know these spreads are quite simple. I haven't really added that much, but I think when you're working in a book that's made from papers that are already quite busy, it doesn't necessarily need much work to then make it into something else. So these are the final spreads. I can definitely go in and add my journaling, and like I said, they are very simple, but I think the elements that I've add to the pages, and I don't want to take away from that. I don't want it to be super busy. Especially with like this one, I think there's enough there to keep your interest and space for my journaling and things, but it's not like so overwhelming when you look at it. I think it's kind of like a good balance. So I want to say a huge thank you to Emma for the wonderful happy mail and a lot of the pieces that I've used in the spreads today. I've only done another 2 spreads, but I think I'm just going to carry on working on this, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll be able to do a proper flip through of this so you can see how it looks. There are definitely some minimal kind of pages and some busier pages, but I think it's trying to find the right balance between busy and keeping it interesting but I think my style is quite minimal, so it's definitely been a challenge to work in a book like this, but I really enjoy it. It's definitely a fun one to create in, and even though I'm very behind, there's a lot to this book and I really love the textures and the interactive elements to it, so I'm really looking forward to finishing it. I hope you enjoyed this like really chilled journal with me. I'd love to know what you think, and if you've journaled along, that would be lovely to hear. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Emma, thank you to Meg for the prompts. I'll leave a link to everything down below, and I will see you soon with a new video. See you later.